What's up, YouTube? This is MathWiz97 and welcome back to my WWE 2K17 Universe Mode. This is the 66th installment in the series, and we are just 1 week away from the Payback pay-per-view, and we are coming to you live from Detroit, Michigan, the go-home episode of Monday Night Raw. And we've got a pretty stacked card in shape for you, kicking things off with the architect formerly behind the Shield, the former leader of Team Rollins, which has since fallen apart at the seams. His empire is crumbling, but Seth Rollins, he is here to redesign, rebuild, and reclaim what was taken from him by the Revival. Of course, it was 2 weeks ago, right here on Monday Night Raw, that Seth Rollins competed against Sheamus in a beat-the-clock challenge match. But before the match took place, Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder had come down to ringside. It looked as though Scott Dawson was going to be competing in the beat-the-clock instead, only to stab Seth Rollins in the back to take out his leg. And then, of course, when the match actually began, Seth Rollins managed to hang on for the duration. He managed to, well, prevent Sheamus from beating the clock, as it were. And after the match had ended, Sheamus was just furious. He took out his, well, even during the match, he got himself counted out by, well, not, like, he just was furious. He took his frustrations out on Seth Rollins, gave him a concussion. So not only is Seth Rollins working with, a minor leg injury here tonight, but he's also got this concussion to deal with. But tonight, it was offered to him to take some time off, but Seth Rollins, he denied it. Seth Rollins immediately wanted his revenge against the Revival. So tonight, Seth Rollins will go one-on-one with Scott Dawson. I don't know if it's the wisest decision, but you have to admire the guts. You have to admire the willpower of Seth Rollins to, despite the pain he must be feeling right now, to still, want this match with Scott Dawson, to want to try to hold his own, try to put these two in their place. It's going to be easier said than done, though. I mean, Seth Rollins at 100% might even have a difficult time taking down the combined force of the Revival. True, he might only have Scott Dawson in singles action tonight, but when Dash Wilder's at ringside, I mean, you see what the Revival are capable of in tag team action, and that would very much so translate to a singles match. They'd be willing to distract the referee, bend the rules in whatever way possible. Look at this. Scott Dawson immediately diving to the outside. Look at Seth Rollins! Well, Seth Rollins launched himself over the top rope, tried to take out Scott Dawson, but you saw Dash Wilder grab Dawson, pull him out of the way. Seth Rollins crashed and burned, and now Scott Dawson is going to take advantage. It's just like I said, the numbers game of the Revival might be too difficult for Seth Rollins to overcome. In the first place, that's probably not a risk that Seth Rollins should have taken. And while you do have to admire his guts coming out here tonight for this matchup, being willing to put his body on the line like that, at the same time, it's not the wisest decision. Nice counter there by Seth Rollins. He's able to, at least for now, put up a fight. But moves like that, high impact mistakes like that, are certainly not going to do Seth Rollins any favors. As Seth Rollins now has got Scott Dawson, bouncing him skull first off the announce table, then connected with that rolling elbow. And you can see Seth Rollins is just lying in wait as he now stamps him with an elbow straight to the forehead. Of course, Seth Rollins has been, ever since WrestleMania, ever since his big victory over Dean Ambrose in the 60-minute Iron Man match, things have not gone so well for... Oh my God! Well, you saw Dash Wilder trying to pick up Scott Dawson, trying to help his partner to his feet, but Seth Rollins dove through the ropes and took out both men. And now look at this! The referee has just ejected Dash Wilder from ringside. Dash Wilder has been ejected from this match. And now Scott Dawson's all by himself as Seth Rollins connects with the springboard knee. Signature Seth Rollins right there, and now this might be a bit more of a fair fight. Granted, Seth Rollins still is working with a concussion and that leg injury, so he's hardly at 100%, but at this point, it's a much more level playing field. You take Dash Wilder out of the equation, And then this really is going to put Scott Dawson to the test. Can he hold his own without Dash Wilder in his corner? Well, there's a nice boot to the face by Dawson. Now a massive European uppercut. And you can see Scott Dawson. He's targeting the injury. He's targeting the concussion. Going straight after Seth Rollins with vicious... you saw in the corner connected with that boot, the uppercut, the punches to the face. He's going right after the scrambled brains of Seth Rollins, and he's looking to... Well, of course, Seth Rollins, you have to imagine, he's already got to be... his equilibrium could be a bit thrown off by that concussion. Who knows what kind of a migraine he might be dealing with, and the more shots he takes to the head, the less... he's going to lose more of his... He's going to lose even more of his bearings, as right now, off that sit-out spine buster, Dawson went for the pin, but a kick out by Rollins. And you do have to give Scott Dawson credit. A very smart plan of attack here. Go for the injury. Try to exploit what he can exploit. As Scott Dawson, you'd have to say that as far as in-ring ability goes in a one-on-one matchup, Seth Rollins would have the very clear advantage. But Scott Dawson is using what he can. Using the tools at his disposal. As you see, most of these attacks are going right for the head of Seth Rollins. He's not playing around. As Scott Dawson now drives the elbow into the back of the skull. Of course, Team Rollins, we always knew that at the end of the day, Seth Rollins was the man at the top. He was the man whose business was more important than everyone else's. We saw what he did to Big Show, to Blake and Murphy when he cast them aside. And it seems as though the Revival were perhaps taking a preemptive strike, trying to avoid the same fate. Because you do have to admit, even before Team Rollins, as Seth went for that second rope Phoenix splash, but Scott Dawson was able to duck out of harm's way. But even with the Shield, it was Seth Rollins who turned his back on Dean Ambrose when Dean Ambrose was no longer of use to him. That just seems to be a running thing with Seth Rollins, is that whenever, even if he has some allies, whenever they no longer serve a purpose to him, he just throws them out like trash. And perhaps it's a bit ironic that this time it is the Revival who are just tossing Seth Rollins around like trash, as right now Scott Dawson applying a sleeper hold, and that's not going to do Seth Rollins any favors. As Scott Dawson looking to counter by Rollins, a jawbreaker. An effective counter, but at the same time, Seth Rollins, that's not going to help his concussion at all, but Seth Rollins able to take him down with a sit-out face buster, hooks the leg, 2, and no. Scott Dawson manages to survive Seth Rollins. He can't, he's got to try to end this matchup as quickly as possible, because the longer this goes on, the more his concussion's going to wear on him, and the more Scott Dawson is going to be able to exploit that. As Seth Rollins looking for it. No, it's countered. Seth Rollins was looking for some sort of a powerbomb, perhaps, but Scott Dawson countered it in a back body drop, and you can see that Seth Rollins is in bad shape. Seth Rollins, he wasn't even at 100% going into this matchup. It's a wonder that he's been able to hang on for this long. As now Scott Dawson's just toying with him. Scott Dawson making a fool out of Seth Rollins, just mocking the crowd as well. As you can see, Seth Rollins trying to crawl over to Scott Dawson, but Seth Rollins, he's practically helpless right now. Wait a minute, I speak too soon. As Seth Rollins able to counter, and now look at this, a schoolboy, but he's way too close to those ropes. Seth Rollins, unaware of his ring presence. Just out of sheer desperation, he went for that roll-up. I think he might have been going for, he was going for a kick to the midsection, maybe to set up maybe perhaps a curb stomp or a pedigree, but now he's caught in the sleeper hold yet again, and Scott Dawson. This is a very smart strategy by Scott Dawson here. You cannot, granted, the advantage would be in his favor given Seth Rollins' the fact that he's at less than 100%, but Scott Dawson is doing a very smart job at exploiting that. You have to admire the intelligence, the quick thinking of Scott Dawson, as he just blew out that injured knee of Seth Rollins, and now he's looking for that submission hold. The inverted figure 4 in the center of the ring. Seth Rollins, can he get over to those ropes? Is he going to be able to break out of this? As Scott Dawson just really wrenching back on the submission hold, and Seth Rollins has no choice but to tap out. He came into this matchup already injured. And Scott Dawson knew just where to attack. He knew the weak points. And he knew exactly what he needed to put Seth Rollins away. Even with Dash Wilder ejected from ringside, Scott Dawson still comes out with a victory. And like it or not, like his methods or not, you have to give him credit. You have to admit that it was effective. As now we move on to some tag team. Okay, well, I thought this was gonna be. I have on my lineup sheet here that it was supposed to be Sin Cara and Kalisto, the Lucha Dragons, taking on Heath Slater and Bo Dallas of the Outcasts. But I mean, Kalisto's coming out here by himself. I mean, we know that there are some tensions building between Sin Cara and Kalisto. We had that interview last week with Sin Cara, stating that, well, Kalisto, he got the opportunity to fight Samoa Joe in the Beat the Clock challenge. So Sin Cara, the reason why he did not come out to help Kalisto against Samoa Joe was that, I mean, Kalisto, he believed should be able to take care of himself. And now it seems as though Sin Cara has left Kalisto high and dry to take on the Outcast by himself. Well, this is not an ideal situation. So that's how it is. You had to imagine that this was in the works. You had to imagine that this was coming. Curtis Axel, a couple of weeks ago, he met Sin Cara backstage behind closed doors. We don't know what was said, but evidently, Curtis Axel must have pitched Sin Cara an offer to join the Outcasts. And after a couple of weeks, perhaps Sin Cara was tossing it around in his mind. He was giving it some thought. And it seems as though he's finally made his decision. Coming out here tonight. So what is this now? A 3-on-1 handicap match? How does that affect this match? This was supposed to be a 2-on-2 tag team match, but Sin Cara has come out here with the Outcasts. Kalisto's got no partner. I mean, I don't know what the situation, what the technicalities of this are going to be. But all we know is that it seems as though the Lucha Dragons, well, they might have just come to an end. As Sin Cara and Kalisto, I guess, are going to start this matchup off. I mean, by the looks of this, we've got a 3-on-1 handicap match on our hands. I mean, the referee doesn't quite know what to do in this situation. Kalisto, oh my god, Sin Cara just took down Kalisto. Kalisto, you have to imagine I don't know exactly what all emotions have got to be running through his mind right now. He's certainly in disbelief that his tag team partner, Sin Cara, has betrayed him like this. As Sin Cara just caught him with that enziguri. Kalisto struggling to get back to his feet. And here's Sin Cara right now just wrestling circles around him. Kalisto, Kalisto, does he even want to fight Sin Cara right now? I don't know what. You have to imagine that there's so many thoughts, so many emotions running through Kalisto's mind right now. Can't even focus on the match. Because right now, Sin Cara, there's one thing on his mind, and that is decimating Kalisto. Oh, now a double foot stomp straight to the midsection. Just crushing the wind out of the lungs of Kalisto. Now staggers him with a European uppercut as Sin Cara whips him into the turnbuckle. You see the force behind that Irish whip. Kalisto just crumbles to the mat in a heap. As now Sin Cara picks him up to his feet. And he's going to do it again. He's going to whip him into the other turnbuckle. And again, Kalisto. The force of that throw knocks him straight down to the canvas. And Sin Cara throws him again. This time Kalisto able to stay on his feet. But Sin Cara throws him into the other corner. I mean, come on. How much longer is this going to go on for? As Sin Cara just tossing Kalisto back and forth like a rag doll. Wait a minute! Kalisto with a roll-up. 1, 2, and no! Kalisto nearly caught him off guard with the roll-up. Trying to put this matchup away in the easiest way possible, but that's not going to happen as Sin Cara rolls through. Look at the strength of Sin Cara. A schoolboy powerbomb. Kalisto is out like a light. As now Sin Cara could be looking to finish him off, looking to deal the final blow, the death blow, as he scales to the top rope and drills him with a swanton bomb. And Sin Cara hooks the leg on his former tag team partner. 2 and 3. And that seals it, folks. The Lucha Dragons are done. Sin Cara has stabbed his partner Kalisto in the back. And he has sold his soul to the devil. He has joined forces with Heath Slater, Bo Dallas, Jack Swagger, and Curtis Axel. He's the newest member of the Outcasts. I mean, I can't say that I didn't see this coming, but I was really hoping it wouldn't come to this. Well, there's going to be a fatal four-way for the United States Championship at Payback. And it seems as though Curtis Axel has nominated Jack Swagger and Sin Cara for the task. What a development this is. Well, that's certainly an interesting way to make a match. We know that Seth Rollins and Triple H have never gotten along. They've never seen eye to eye. But it seems as though not only did we just have a United States Championship match take effect, be announced for Payback, but we've also got what seems to be an impromptu tag team match. Well, I guess technically impromptu is not the right word. But another last-minute addition is Baron Corbin, his suspension, his 60-day suspension after he no-showed WrestleMania, it will have expired by the time Payback rolls around, so it seems as though Baron Corbin will be returning to the ring to join forces with Seth Rollins to take on the Revival. Well, certainly Team Rollins has been torn, well, really has been torn in half with this newest development, but we'll save that for later, because right now we have the final qualifier for the the Women's Championship 6-woman Battle Royal. We've already seen Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Summer Rae, Nikki Bella, and Alexa Bliss qualify. Now we're going to find out who will take that 6th and final spot. Is it going to be Brie Bella of the Divas Empire, or will it be the boss, Sasha Banks? This is going to be a tough match, to say the least. And if I had to pick a favorite to win, if I had to make my selection for this matchup, I'd have to put my money on Sasha Banks. Because, I mean, her track record speaks for herself. Yeah, you could say that Brie Bella was a former Divas champion in Universe Mode. That is a fair claim. However, her championship reign, I think it's safe to say, without any uncertainty, that her title reign was rather lackluster. She didn't accomplish a whole lot as the Divas champion. She didn't hold the title for very long. Whereas Sasha Banks, she made it all the way to the final matchup at WrestleMania in the Queen of the Ring tournament. She defeated the likes of Trish Stratus, Bayley, and eventually Becky Lynch in the last chance match. As there you saw a little bit of arrogance from the boss. Brie Bella rather, tried to strike her down with a slap to the face. But here comes Sasha Banks. Double knee straight to the midsection. Sasha Banks not pulling any punches. Not wasting any time in this matchup. Going straight to work. Perhaps looking to make quick work of Brie Bella, and that's a smart strategy. The Battle Royal is just this Sunday, 6 days away. So Sasha Banks, Brie Bella, they're going to have to try to avoid exhausting themselves in a matchup like this. Try to end the match as quickly as possible. Be in the best shape possible for Payback. As there's a forearm delivered by Sasha Banks. She staggers her with another one. As now Brie Bella whipped off the rope. Sasha Banks, no. Counter by Brie. As Brie Bella, again, now she's the one delivering the strikes. Forearms, chops. Kick to the midsection, a shoulder thrust. And Brie Bella, no, she continued to strike, but now it's Sasha Banks who comes back. There's another forearm by Sasha Banks. These two women are trading shots back and forth, left and right. Oh, there's a slap by Brie Bella. I mean, we know that Brie Bella, one of the most disrespectful women on the roster. And I mean, really, every time she steps in that ring, she takes that title to a whole new level. But when she's going up against a crafty upstart like Sasha Banks, someone who has proven herself to be, very much so, a strong threat to the Women's Championship in Universe Mode. I mean, Brie Bella, she might have, I think saying that she has her hands full tonight is a bit of an understatement. Of course, she's got no Tamina, no Summer Rae in her corner tonight. But if Brie Bella can win this matchup, she will join Summer Rae in that Battle Royal, and that could give a major advantage to the Divas Empire. We saw that Tamina Snuka failed to enter the Battle Royal. She was defeated by Nikki Bella last week. And we do know that there is that grudge between the Bella twins, between Nikki and her sister Brie. I have to imagine there's some unfinished business there. As right now Sasha Banks is in some trouble. Brie has got her in this rear chin lock. Sasha Banks. Sasha's getting up to her feet. She's trying to find a way out of this. She's trying to fight, trying to break the hold. And of course, when it comes to submissions, when it comes to just grappling ability, you have to give the advantage to Sasha Banks. But Brie Bella's making up for it with pure aggression as she takes her down. Just spiked her skull first with that DDT. Now she goes for the pin. She's got her for a 2 count, but it's only going to remain a 2 count. Sasha Banks is just barely able to peel the shoulder off the canvas. As she tries to get back to her feet, Brie Bella is going to help her, going to take her the rest of the way, but now drags her over to those ropes. And Brie Bella's going to drop her down to the middle. What has she got in mind? She's lining her up for something, drops her down. And now Brie just drives that knee right underneath the collarbone of Sasha Banks. Referee's got to keep a close eye on that. I mean, talk about chokeholds, driving your knee straight into someone's throat. That's certainly going to take a lot out of you. And Sasha Banks now able to reverse. Brie Bella brought into the corner. And here's Sasha. Kick to the leg. And there she goes off the top rope. Look at that athletic ability. What an arm drag by Sasha Banks. She goes for the pin. 2. And no, Brie Bella able to kick out just in the nick of time. But Sasha follows through with a drop kick straight to the face. No wasted motion on the part of the boss, as now Sasha has got her in a dragon sleeper hold. Brie trying to fight through this, but Sasha breaks the hold instead. What's Sasha got in mind now? Perhaps she didn't think that the dragon sleeper was going to be enough. Now she's going for a Romero special. And again, this is where the submission ability of Sasha Banks, her submission prowess really starts to take effect. Brie Bella, she's not going to be able to match that. Really, when it comes to in-ring ability, I would have to give the advantage to Sasha Banks. She has proven herself to be quite the athlete, even at such a young age. Her time in Universe Mode may have been short, but Sasha, she can hold her own in that ring. She's been in some of the biggest matches in the history of this division. And Sasha Banks able to take her down with a head scissors. And now she's got her in a chokehold. Sasha trying to make her tap out in the center of the ring. Brie Bella, she has no idea where she is. She can't reach out to those ropes. Heck, she can't even see where she's at. Her face just driven straight into the mat. But Brie's able to... Look, well, you want to talk about athletic ability. There's a nice counter there by Brie Bella. And of course, I mean, this is a different Brie Bella than the Brie Bella who was the Divas champion at last year's WrestleMania. This Brie Bella, she has improved her in-ring technique, but I don't know if she's improved it enough to keep up with Sasha Banks, as Sasha has the cover, but Brie's able to counter it. She reverses the pressure. 2. And no. Sasha's able to kick out, save herself, but Brie Bella has got her off balance. Went for the discus forearm, but Sasha was able to reverse it. And now Sasha Banks with the strikes, looking for a, no! She was looking for perhaps a Hurricanrana, but she got caught. Brie Bella planted her face first into the canvas. And now, Brie Bella backs her into the corner. Delivers a knee to the midsection. And she's entering Brie mode as she goes off the ropes with a full head of steam. Knee driven straight into the face. Might have knocked Sasha Banks out cold. And you can see Brie Bella just mocking her opponent, but she gave Sasha too much time to recover. That's where Brie's ego is going to cost her. It's going to come back to bite her in the end. As Sasha Banks whipped off the ropes. Counter there by Sasha. And she delivers a punch to the face. Oh, it's going to come back to bite her in a big way. Because Sasha Banks has got the bank statement out of nowhere. Brie Bella, she's on the brink of defeat. Sasha Banks has got the bank statement locked in, but Brie Bella's able to reverse it. Brie Bella turns it into a roll-up, shoulders are down, 2 and 3. No. Sasha able to escape at the last second. But Brie Bella, the resourcefulness, she knew that she couldn't stay in that bank statement for long, or else there would have been no escape. She managed to come up with a quick counter, roll her up on his shoulders, just shift the weight. And that is a smart move by Brie Bella. Like her or not, you cannot deny the ability she just displayed. As now Brie Bella off the top rope with a massive clothesline. Massive clothesline off the top rope. Oh, and she's going for that modified crossface. Brie Bella, this is the same move that she forced her sister Nikki to tap out to at the Slammy Awards. Wouldn't it be ironic if the submission specialist Sasha Banks had to tap? And she might have to. No, wait, Sasha's moving. Sasha had to pull the hair. But she was able to force her way out of that submission hold. As now Sasha's got her with a swinging neck breaker. Both of these women on the brink of defeat. But just managing to escape at the last second. But how much more do they have left in the tank? As Sasha Banks spins her around. She's looking to turn this into a Hurricanrana, but no, Brie Bella countered it into a powerbomb. A sit-out powerbomb by Brie Bella. Here's the pin. 2, and no. Sasha Banks is having some difficulty out there. I mean, who would have expected this? I know I thought going into this matchup that Sasha Banks had the clear advantage. I mean, like I said, I would have put my money on her, but Brie Bella is giving her a run for her money. In fact, it might actually be Brie Bella who has had the stronger performance in this matchup. She's in control right now, that's for sure. As Sasha Banks is out on her feet right now. Brie drags her over to the corner. And she's looking to put Sasha Banks up in no man's land. She's got her up on that top rope. I don't know what she's got in mind, but it's bad news for the boss. As Brie Bella takes her to that top rope, could be thinking sidewalk slam, but Sasha's able to reverse. Strikes her down with an elbow to the face, and Sasha springs back to the top rope. Here comes Sasha, look out below, elbow drop, and a hook of the leg by Sasha. 1, 2, no! A kick out again. And no matter what these two women throw at each other, they still manage to find enough resolve left in them to kick out. And here comes Sasha Banks with a vertical suplex. Oh, but she's keeping her hooked. Sasha Banks paying homage to her role model, Eddie Guerrero, with the 3 amigos. She drills her with the 3rd. And you know what this usually sets up. Sasha Banks throws up a pose to the crowd. And Sasha Banks gonna take a trip up to the top rope. She could be feeling froggy, looking for the frog splash, but no, she missed it. Brie Bella sidestepped the frog splash. She choreographed it, and now Brie Bella with a spinning back fist. That devastating back fist, she caught her straight across the chin. And Sasha could be out. Brie Bella back to that arm-trapped crossface. And Sasha, she was able to escape it once. Is she going to be able to escape it twice? Sasha, she's in trouble. She's forced to submit. Sasha Banks taps out. And Brie Bella scores the win. She's going to Payback. She has defeated Sasha Banks, eliminated her from the #1 contender scene, and she punches her ticket for the Battle Royal at Payback. And just think, if Brie Bella can pull off a similar feat at the pay-per-view, she's got a date with Destiny, a date with the women's champion Asuka. Perhaps it could be the Queen of the Ring, the first matchup in the Queen of the Ring repeating itself, although this time you'd have to think that Brie Bella would want to put up much more of a fight than she did back in January. As there you see, there's the matchup. Summer Rae, Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Nikki, and Brie Bella, and Alexa Bliss. And the winner of that Battle Royal will go on later in the night to face the women's champion Asuka for the title. But also announced earlier this episode, it is a tag team matchup of epic proportions as Seth Rollins joins forces with Baron Corbin to take on Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder of the Revival, also announced tonight. It will be a United States Championship Fatal 4-Way match. Jack Swagger and Sin Cara representing the Outcasts to take on Sami Zayn and Adrian Neville. Then we have another matchup that was announced just last week, as it will be Finn Balor taking on Randy Orton. That's certain to be one hell of a grudge match. We'll see Finn Balor compete in our main event up next. But we also cannot forget that major main event. The World Heavyweight title is up for grabs as Cesaro defends the gold against the winner of the Beat the Clock Challenge, the phenomenal AJ Styles. On the next episode of SmackDown, we will be breaking down the SmackDown half of the match card, so be sure to stay tuned for that. You do not want to miss that episode. But right now, it is main event time as Finn Balor, if he wants to get a taste of what he should expect at Payback, going up against a former World Heavyweight Champion in Randy Orton, I can think of no better opponent than the former United States Champion, the former World Heavyweight Champion, Mexico's greatest export, Alberto Del Rio. And this is your main event, of course. Alberto Del Rio, he's been down on his luck for, I mean, really, this losing streak has been going on for, God, who knows how long. Alberto Del Rio, really, I don't know how much time he's going to have left on this brand if he can't put together some sort of a victory. But that has definitely, even though he has been losing, he's been putting up impressive performances. You cannot deny that. This losing streak has certainly amplified his aggressiveness. And that is going to pose a threat to Finn Balor here tonight. Because when you've got a man like Alberto Del Rio who's got nothing to lose, he'll be willing to do anything. And Finn Balor, the last thing he wants before this match against Randy Orton at Payback, the last thing he wants is an injury. He's going to have to watch his step here tonight against Alberto Del Rio. But if anybody would be up to the task, it would have to be the former tag team champion, Finn Balor. Of course, it's been a while since Finn Balor has had a taste of the gold. It was at WrestleMania that he and Hideo Itami lost their tag team titles in the Fatal 4-Way tag team match. They were eliminated from the bouts by the Ascension, and it was, of course, the Primetime Players who would capture the gold at the end of the day. Then, of course, Hideo Itami was drafted to SmackDown, and Finn Balor, he's been flying solo since then with marginal success. It's been kind of up and down for Balor. Of course, it was not too long ago that he had a shot at the World Heavyweight Champion Cesaro in a non-title match. He came up short on that night, and that was where this whole thing started. That's when Randy Orton first set his sights on Finn Balor. Because if you recall correctly, when Cesaro walked up the ramp celebrating his victory, he encountered AJ Styles, but Randy Orton didn't want to be overlooked. So he laid out Finn Balor with an RKO. It seemed as though that was going to be a one-off thing. But then, after Randy Orton was defeated by Sami Zayn in the Beat the Clock Challenge, Randy Orton, he took out Finn Balor backstage. He assaulted him in the locker room. And that allowed AJ Styles, like it or not, that gave him a huge assist in winning the Beat the Clock Challenge because he defeated Finn Balor in less than 3 minutes. To be fair, Finn Balor was at less than 100% going into the match. There really was nothing he could do against a superstar the caliber of AJ Styles, at least not at less than 100%. I mean, Balor, he certainly showed his endurance on that night, but he was never able to strike back. And you'd have to imagine that if Finn Balor was at 100%, AJ Styles would not be the #1 contender. Samoa Joe would have won the Beat the Clock challenge without question. But you see right now, Finn Balor is starting to focus, starting to perhaps channel some of that inner demon within him. As you can just see this. Finn Balor and Alberto Del Rio. Alberto Del Rio certainly has the size advantage, might even have the strength advantage. And heck, when it comes to striking ability, Alberto Del Rio on paper, Alberto Del Rio does have some clear-cut advantages over Finn Balor. The submission game, mat wrestling, it really is a toss-up. But when it comes to just pure determination, and when it comes to certainly the ability to run around that ring, when it comes to speed, quickness, that's going to go to Finn Balor. Finn Balor's got the edge there, but you see a bit of strength on display there by Balor with a vertical suplex. And then, of course, like with Finn Balor, he really just has struggled to come into his own as a single star. Ever since Hideo Itami was drafted to SmackDown, Finn Balor, well, he's had yet to pick up a significant victory on Monday Night Raw. And perhaps people have started to wonder, can Finn Balor hold his own without Hideo Itami in his corner? The doubt has certainly started to creep in as look at Alberto Del Rio. Almost like a backstabber, but straight to the arm of Finn Balor. That'll send shooting pain all the way through your fingertips. And this is the game that Alberto Del Rio likes to play. Going to work on the arm, wrenching it back here with this hammer lock, and then really wrenching back there. Alberto Del Rio, he does not mess around when it comes to targeting the arms of his opponents. Oh, as he went for a boot to the face, but Balor able to dodge it, and he takes him down with a sling blade. And that's the explosiveness that Finn Balor possesses. Out of nowhere, takes him down with a sling blade, but Del Rio able to kick out, but the momentum is shifted just like that. As Finn Balor now drills him with a Michinoku driver, hooks the leg on Del Rio. 1, 2, but he only gets the 2 count. And this will be a big match for not just this matchup tonight, but at Payback. Finn Balor, I'd argue, I don't know. Both men are in very tricky positions right now. Randy Orton, coming off of a loss at WrestleMania, coming off of a loss at Extreme Rules. Randy Orton needs to bounce back, but Finn Balor, he desperately needs to bounce back as well. So at this point, I mean, both men are in desperate situations. And I think that this could be a very aggressive match that we're going to see at Payback. You have to think that Randy Orton is watching this matchup very closely, scouting out Finn Balor, whether that's from backstage or, who knows, somewhere in the crowd. We know that Randy Orton tends to pop out of nowhere to nail his opponents with surprise attacks, ambushes. I mean, he's ambushed Finn Balor in the locker room. He's hit him with an RKO after his match with Cesaro. Wouldn't surprise me if Randy Orton tried to do the same thing tonight. As Alberto Del Rio takes Balor down with a shoulder breaker. I mean, heck, maybe he won't even wait till the end of the match. Maybe Randy Orton will show up halfway through. Anything to play the mind games with Finn Balor, because that's how Randy Orton operates. Randy Orton perhaps is the king when it comes to mind games. But right now, Alberto Del Rio looking to play a little bit of mind games, driving the boot into the face, but no, he missed the super kick. Balor ducked it. I mean, that's a different type of mind games we're talking about there. Looking to scramble Balor's brains. But Del Rio's staggered right now, dazed and confused. Here comes Finn Balor, shotgun drop kick. And that'll scramble the brains of Alberto Del Rio, as Finn Balor could be looking to go to the top rope. I don't think he's going to get the chance. Alberto Del Rio crawling out of harm's way. He knew that the coup de grace was coming. He did his homework. And so Finn Balor's going to have to go for something else. Find another plan of attack. As he went for the no counter by Del Rio. He had too much time to recover. He was able to counter that attempted back suplex. And now it's Del Rio back in control. As up on his shoulders he goes. Del Rio with a single knee gutbuster, crushing the life out of Finn Balor. And now look at Del Rio again, back to the arm. Looking to perhaps dislocate a shoulder with a move like this, just wrenching back. You can see the aggressiveness on display by Del Rio, just really going to work on that arm. And Randy Orton, you have to think if he's watching this matchup, might be a smart strategy to target that arm at Payback. But Finn Balor, oh jeez, nothing pretty about that shot. Elbow straight to the face. Del Rio, I mean, how is he going to be able to hold on to that submission like that? As Balor caught him with that face breaker, he hooks the leg on Del Rio, but Alberto's able to kick out. Mexico's greatest export has still got some fight left in him, but Finn Balor's got fight left in him as well, as he takes him down with a flurry of forearms and another sling blade. Del Rio is in trouble. Finn Balor kicking it into another gear. He could be looking to put the finishing touches on this matchup, as Del Rio has been staggered. Finn Balor has got him up for a reverse Bloody Sunday. And that could be lights out for Del Rio, as Finn Balor, he's going to that place. He's going to that dark place in his mind as he scales to the top rope, looking for the coup de grace, but again, Del Rio again able to turn himself over and crawl out of harm's way. With all the strength he can muster. Oh, wait! Del Rio with the inside cradle. Balor's down. 2. No, that was a close call there. Alberto Del Rio doing whatever it takes to get the win tonight, and doing everything that he can to avoid the coup de grace. And now, that's the backstabber hook of the leg. 2. No, a kick out again by Balor. Del Rio, how quickly he was able to turn the tables in this matchup. The tide certainly have shifted in his favor, as now Del Rio could be looking for that cross arm breaker, and he's got it locked in. Finn Balor can't quite reach out to those ropes. He's gonna have to find a way to fight out of the submission hold, but Del Rio could break his arm in the process. The cross arm breaker, Del Rio's signature, but Finn Balor able to slip out of it. Finn Balor able to maneuver out of the hold, or at least loosen the grip, and then just punch his way out of it. Oh, and now look at this, boot straight to the face, and Del Rio's down. Del Rio is down in the center of the ring. Finn Balor looking to drag him over, looking to set up the coup de grace. Could the third time be the charm? He was unable to hit it the first 2 times, and he's not going to hit it again. That appears to be Del Rio's #1 priority, is to avoid that coup de grace and prevent Balor from putting away this matchup. There's a Hurricanrana, but a kick out again by Del Rio. Finn Balor just has not been able to hit his ace. He's not been able to put the final nail in Del Rio's coffin, despite having several opportunities to do so. And Finn Balor now, well, he's going to look for something else. The Bloody Sunday. Del Rio spiked skull first into the canvas. Balor hooks the leg. 1, 2, 3. Message sent. Randy Orton, I hope you were watching this matchup very closely, very attentively. Finn Balor sending a message to Randy Orton. He was unable to hit the coup de grace, but Finn Balor digging down deep, finding the Bloody Sunday in his arsenal, and reminding us all of just what it is that Finn Balor is capable of. Randy Orton might not want to underestimate Finn Balor going into this match at Payback. Thank you, as always, for joining me for another action-packed episode of Raw. Wait a minute! Speak of the devil, there he is! Randy Orton, RKO! And you had to know it was coming. You had to see this coming. I'm surprised that Finn Balor didn't. But as always, Randy Orton, he's the one to strike first, and he'll be the one to get the last laugh here tonight. But he's not done yet. The RKO's not enough for him this time. Perhaps Randy Orton looking to put an end to Finn Balor before Payback can even get here. As Finn Balor just had a grueling match with Del Rio, and Randy Orton, like a vulture, just picking up the scraps. Just looking to tear Finn Balor apart. Is Balor even going to make it to Payback? Well, wait, Balor. Finn Balor's got fight left in him. And Finn Balor now, he's putting up a rally as he's looking to drop. No. Randy able to block the suplex, or perhaps it was a brain buster. Either way, Finn Balor didn't hit it. Randy Orton opening up with a can of strikes, the flurry. But here comes Finn Balor, and Finn Balor takes him down with that face breaker. It's Finn Balor who's looking to open up a can of whoop ass on Randy Orton. As now he scales to the top rope. He might not have hit it on Del Rio, but he drills Randy Orton with a coup de grace. And we're out of time, folks. Thank you for joining me for this episode. I'll catch you in the next one.